All right, welcome back. Pros and cons of buying a house in foreclosure. What's going on? This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro studios. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're talking about the pros and cons of buying a house in foreclosure, right? Now, why would you want to buy a house in foreclosure? Well, we're talking about foreclosure, right? Foreclosure is a big part of the target market that I share with you here. As I said in our previous episode, I think marketing is about 3 M's. There is the market, there's the message, and there's the media, right? So there's 3 pillars in business as I cover in the book, www.smartrealestatewholesaling.com. Is also another way of saying the same thing. There is people, there's value, there is people, and there is the automated media between them to connect those two things together. When you connect those two entities together, value and people, right, you make money, right? The more value you bring to the marketplace, the more money you make. It's really that simple, right? So now, why would you need to buy foreclosure? Why are you buying a foreclosure? There are multiple reasons why people buy foreclosure. Buying foreclosure because it's cheaper, right? Buying foreclosure because it's a distressed situation. You get to pick out really nice deals, okay? So these are the pros, okay? You buy a lot cheaper properties because it's cheaper, because it's a distressed situation. Typically the house needs repairs and works like that and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why they're cheaper. The banks, when they foreclose on a person that hasn't made any payment, that's what foreclosure means. They foreclose on the property. So anytime somebody collects mortgage from a bank, mortgage loan from the bank, that means the property is the collateral for the loan. So when somebody stopped making payment, for example in New Jersey, they stop making payment, 3 months later the bank will file what they call the intention to foreclose. Eventually, maybe about 10, 11, 12 months down the line, they will foreclose on the property, meaning they take the property back at an auction sales. They will auction the property, basically. They auction the property if there is no bid at the, to actually, if there's not enough bid to purchase the property at the auction, then the bank still takes it back using what they call a sheriff deed. All right, so but bottom line is that you could buy foreclosure either by buying it at the auction, or you could buy it after the bank has foreclosed on it. They've done a BPO, broker's price opinion, and then they release it back with an agent, a real estate agent, and then they call it the REO, real estate owned by banks, REO. So buying REOs is another way of buying foreclosure, right? So in this particular segment, I'm not talking about buying pre-foreclosure. When you're buying pre-foreclosure, you're still dealing with the homeowner, okay? It's pre-foreclosure at the point, maybe 90 days after they stop payment, and when the bank records that data as public record, when it gets on the pre-foreclosure, yes, it's now pre-foreclosure, but you still have to deal with the homeowner. They still legally own the property before it actually forecloses, okay? So the pros, like I already mentioned, of buying foreclosure is that you get to pick up really good discounts. It's a distressed situation, it needs work, which helps you to get discounts, right? And honestly, that's like the pros right there. But what are the cons, right? What are the downside? What are the potential downside for buying a pre-foreclosure? Well, first of all, for the most part, you can't see the property's interior. You can't go inside the property. As a matter of fact, there are rules. Like when you go to on website like Hubzoo and website like Hubzoo.com and things like that, there are rules that says trespassing the property is not tolerated. Okay, so you're basically not allowed to go to the property. So that's a cons, right? That's a disadvantage, right? The additional disadvantage that you could attach to that is that the last thing you want is to purchase a property and estimating based off of what it looks like, but then you come to find out that there are structural damages in the basement, right? That's not good, right? That is not good, right? That can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Or there's a oil spill, like for example, let's say there's a oil tank in the basement, and there's an oil spill beyond fixing. I've heard very horrific stories around oil tanks. There's been a time where people purchase a property for $150,000, but it's going to cost them $400,000 to clean the oil spill on the property, right? Doesn't really make sense, right? What does that leave them with? It forces them to abandon the property, and then eventually, maybe after a few years, the city will have to take over and then swallow that cost. But here's the thing that you have to pay attention to in that scenario. They've just lost their property. They lost that property, right? Or they purchased a property that's, like we're talking about buying foreclosures, you purchase a property. So these are the potential things that could be wrong with a property, right? Structural damages, oil spill, could be a sewage tank that's bad that you don't get to see because you couldn't trespass the property. Some people have heard of stories where people will, maybe the property is completely vacant and boarded up, they go break in, well, like go through the windows to take a look at it, but there's only so much you can do, because again, if you're caught trespassing such properties, it can become a problematic thing for you, right? So with that being said, I think if you're a brand newbie person in the game, I think the cons outweighs the risk, outweighs the benefits of buying pre-foreclosures. Okay, I think you should absolutely avoid buying foreclosure, rather a foreclosed property. I think you should absolutely avoid buying a foreclosed property if you don't have any experience in the game. At the very minimum, be aware that you're taking a risk. Okay, taking a very massive risk that can bite you back in the butt, right? So I would definitely say, if you're a newbie, yes. But I also want to acknowledge that there are absolutely people who have experience in this game who can see and smell very good properties from outside, and they go to auction all the time to purchase these properties. But again, the given over there in that scenario is that they are experienced. If they're experienced, it's okay to take such risk, because there's just some things that you're able to smell and see and sense when you have certain level of experience. I personally am not a big fan of that, but I've seen even newbies pick up really good deals. But I'll tell you like this: last time I saw a newbie pick up a good deal from a foreclosed property from Hubsuit.com, they still lost $30,000 that they didn't need to lose, not directly because of the property, but because of the lack of experience. So that's something I just want you to share some insights on that for you, and share and have you to rethink it properly if you're looking to buy a foreclosed property.